कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में ये अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to all the dear friends and families. Franchise India team welcome all of you to our digital show under Business Opportunity with Chai. This is a 45-minute session where we will talk about the business opportunity we have got for you. Then we'll move towards a panel discussion where we would love to take all your queries. So we request all of you to use question and answer box to share your feedback, your suggestion, as well as your queries. Franchise India is an association which is helping day in, day out all the investors in getting the maximum business suggestion from our side so that you take a conscious decision of selecting the perfect franchise for yourself. And it is our everyday aim to bring new opportunities for you through our different digital as well as physical events. We invite and welcome management team of Franchise India, Sonia ma'am, as well as the CEO of Fran Global, Miss Venus Barak. Today, it's an international opportunity which we are bringing for you. And we have international guests also joining us today to talk about the brand. We are representing leading mass market car and scooter sharing platform under the name of Anytime Carsharing. They already having a strong presence in 4 countries with 7 million users worldwide, and they are claiming that they have a robust 24/7 support system. That's the business opportunity, a very profitable business opportunity we have got for you. And today we invite Sonia ma'am as well as Venus to formally host and welcome our guest of honor. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining in today. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Archana, and good afternoon and welcome all our participants who have joined us right now, watching us on Facebook, and who would join us later. Our brand team, member from Russia, thank you for joining in. I know it's really early for you. Of course, our teams at Franchise India Brands who do this every day in and out. And of course, our Fran Global teams. Welcome, everyone. And I'm Venus Barak, and I'm the CEO of Fran Global. Fran Global is the international arm of Franchise India. And as our core business, we work with international brands and help them find right business model and franchise partners in India, Bangladesh, and the Middle East. Now, in our goal to bring unique and scalable opportunities from around the world to India, we are very pleased and excited today to introduce Anytime Car Sharing. It is the number one brand in the world when it comes to car and scooter sharing. And as Archana mentioned, with over 7 million users and over 18,000 fleet under their brand. Anytime Car Sharing is part of Miko Capital Group and is growing rapidly across geographies as the market and demand for on-demand mobility increases. And I think what I have really sort of experienced is that there are many questions and assumptions around a business model like this. And that's why I think today's session would really help us and you and anybody who is looking at this opportunity in the sector to understand how this business works. Anytime Car Sharing has really built a very robust, very scalable model around this whole business. And we today have Ms. Anastasia Lednick, who is the Chief Financial Officer for Anytime Car Sharing. And she really has a deeper understanding of the business model and will be sharing with us and talk about the brand and the business. And welcome Anastasia. And before I bring you in, I think if I can ask my colleague to share the brand video. Sonia, you want to say something?
No, that's okay. I think we should go ahead with the video.
If you can sort of set up the video and then we'll have Anastasia. Thank you.
Я живу в большом городе, где быстрый ритм – это норма. Но я создаю свои правила. Каждый мой день не похож на другой. Я работаю там, где это удобно мне. Смотрю на мир не с экрана телефона, а в реальности. Сбегаю от скуки вместе с близкими. Даже рутинные дела превращают в приключения. Моя жизнь полна ярких красок. Я решаю, каким будет завтра. И в поисках новых впечатлений выбираю Anytime.
Great. Thank you, Kanika, for that. Anastasia, welcome. And I look forward hearing from you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Now I will share my screen and we will start the presentation.
Sure.
So I would like to start with the information what Carsharing is, because maybe not all of you really know what is Carsharing, because currently it's not well developed across India. And Carsharing is a short-term car rental without driver with a pay-as-you-go model built per minute or per hour of use. Our clients have no additional fees for parking, maintenance, car wash, fueling, and insurance. Everything is already included for them for the price per minute in driving mode. Carsharing has driven strong demand as a more affordable way of urban mobility compared to taxi, expensive personal car ownership, and as part of the sharing economy trend worldwide. Carsharing has proven itself in Europe, America, and Asia, and especially in developing countries worldwide. Currently, our brand is developing in Russian Federation under the name Daily Mobile, and we are also developing on international markets. In Czech Republic, we have the fleet of 500 cars in Prague, and we are also represented in Kazakhstan and Belarus. So for over 95% of ordinary private vehicle is not used, but only occupies space. Actually, that's why car sharing is so good for the cities. A typically private passenger car is driven for 6 hours a week, and can you imagine that it is parked for the remaining 162 hours? So an average car is usually used for 3.5% of its lifetime, and all the remaining 96.5% it is spent in the car park, occupying the space. And this problem is really huge for Indian market. So Shared mobility is an important element of how cities respond to congestion, parking, and smoke problems. Car sharing is a fast-growing business with high internal rate of return, which is predicted to grow at a CAGR over 24% by 2026. And also it is expected that by 2025, 71% of total revenue in car rental segment will be generated through online sales. And actually, this is what car sharing offers. So, what are the benefits of car sharing comparing with taxi, bike, scooters, public transport, and personal car? The main thing is that our clients can experience the comfort of having own car, but without any additional fees. So they feel the comfort of driving the new brand car. They have very flexible renting and parking spots. They don't pay any parking fees or any fuel costs or something like that. And our service is available 24/7. We're working not like the public transport. And our model is attractive because everything is included in the price per minute. There are also lots of benefits of car sharing for the city. Usually it is very well perceived by local authorities because car sharing helps to reduce the traffic in the cities. It improves the environment through the use of the latest car models. It is an innovative product for the city and it gives additional modality of urban passenger transport. So one car sharing vehicle can replace up to 10 private cars. So just imagine how many free parking places could be if there is car sharing in the city. So said main information about our brand. I would not stop on that. Currently, there are more than 120,000 people are using Anytime car sharing in Belarus. Anytime is the highest rated car sharing app in Czech Republic App Store, and we are currently the leader in Central Asian region. Considering the fleet, now, of course, the fleet of Delhi Mobile in Russian Federation is currently the largest. But in Minsk, we have more than 500 cars. In Prague, we have also around 500 cars. And in Kazakhstan and Almaty, we have around 500 cars already. And we're still developing our fleets, so that's not enough for the cities. And we will add more and more cars every year. And Anytime is looking for the franchisees across India. So actually, that's why we decided to have this webinar and to tell more information about the brand and about our franchising opportunities. And the main franchisee requirements, how we see it, is the city population over 1 million people. And the partner has to be able to obtain fleet financing through purchasing or leasing vehicles, or to have an existing fleet, which you want to rebrand into Anytime car sharing. Also, local market knowledge and good credit history will be a big plus. So now I'm passing my word to Anshu. And we will have a quick market overview and speak more about Indian market. Yeah.
Anshu, this is yours. Anastasia would run the presentation, but I think we need to talk about the Indian bit.
Sure, Vinay, I'm happy. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, friends, India is a market, and though we have also drawn parallel in previous, we'll see in the next two slides. We'll talk about drawing parallel with what companies already done in the Russian market, plus their presence in Prague and other markets also. So before that, we would look at India as a market, 1.3 billion population, Of course, not all would be as a customer for car sharing service, but we'll look at that in detail. Few key indicators on the next slide now. 22 vehicles per 1,000 inhabitants is what company has done in the home market, which means about 220 vehicles per 10,000.
I would like quickly to jump in into this part because it's really very important to understand that the car sharing market and the vehicle market in India is still not very well developed. Of course, India is one of the largest markets in terms of two-wheelers, and scooter sharing is already developing in India. However, if we speak about cars, it's very important to note that in developed countries like Europe, we have more than 500 cars per 1,000 inhabitants. And India has only 22 vehicles per 1,000 inhabitants. And what's important, that low motorization rate together with high population density are among the factors which lead to car sharing success. International Energy Agency reports suggest that passenger car ownership in India will grow by 2040, but still they would be only 175 cars per 1,000 inhabitants, and it's still not enough. So everything which is lower 500 cars per 1,000 inhabitants is considered to be our target market for car sharing development.
So, Anshu, Anastasia, do you mind going back to the previous slide? So, Anshul, what does this mean for the Indian market? Can you sort of, say this is a large need gap, right? So, what would you say about the Indian market on this? This seems like a big demand.
Correct. So, as Anastasia also mentioned, the demand would be and what 500 vehicles per 1,000 inhabitants is what we should be looking at from a developed economies or developed countries point of view. But today we have only 22 vehicles per 1,000 population, so which means almost a 20x requirement is there to be done, right? So which can be fulfilled either through people investing in new vehicles or car sharing as an option.
Or both, or both. India is a market
or a mix of both, or a mix of both, of course, yes.
Sure.
So what that means is there's a huge potential, uh, and given that there is low income level in India, so adding new vehicle and getting to that ratio of 500 vehicles per 1,000 people, that will take a significant amount of time and investments to come in from the buyers, right?
And we don't
Which
have the
also
infrastructure. And we don't have the
we don't have the infrastructure to support that sort of vehicle density. And also, the investor, the buyer, is also not there to be able to get to that ratio of 500 vehicles per 1,000 people, right? So, which means car sharing becomes a very interesting opportunity for this ratio to be achieved.
Sure.
Right. Over to the next slide. Now, here what we have shown, companies already present in these four markets: Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, and Czech. And if you compare, in terms of the income levels, GDP per capita, India is of course around 5,000 mark, while other three markets are beyond very well set up in that sense. At the same time, we have also seen in terms of what is the vehicle penetration, vehicle per 1,000 inhabitants penetration in these markets. The point to make here is that India, as we grow in terms of the GDP per capita, the income level goes up, and So the penetration also will improve over the next 5, 7, 10 years period. Right. In terms of the India automobile market, Maruti, of course, happens to be the market leader. But we also know that there is about 3 million vehicles sold every year in the country, and that should add up to the demand in the market. This also means that this sort of vehicle composition in the market. This is what is going to also be representative of how car sharing vehicles composition needs to be done. So while we're saying that India could be a market for 5,000 vehicles under car sharing, only looking at some top 10 markets, this is what in terms of the composition we need to look at. And this is very important to understand that Maruti, while it holds 50% market share, the average vehicle cost for Maruti would be around between 6 to 7 lakh rupees. And that's the investment we should be looking at from a master franchisee point of view. If you're looking at bringing in the vehicles. Right. Okay, some of the key top players in this category: Uber Pool, Ola Share, started almost 10 years back, and today they have created presence. Like Uber Pool has a presence in almost 80 cities today, and Ola Share has also made presence in 65 cities. So that's the potential we're talking about. Over 10 years period, both the companies have done significantly in terms of their expansion across the country. If you look at last 5 years also, players like BlaBlaCar, which is an international company, has come in this market in India and have grown to 11 cities presence. Similarly, some of the domestic players who have started in last 5 years period have also expanded in 7, 8 cities. So over the next slide, we'll see their presence and what cities they've done. Yes. So though we have not mapped the presence for Uber and Ola because they are 65 and 85 cities today, but more importantly, BlaBlaCar, which is an international company into car sharing service, they have presence in 11 cities and primarily Delhi NCR and North India. And then in West, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, and Vadodara as key markets. South, Bangalore, and Chennai is what they've done. Similarly, if you do a comparison for all other players, Delhi, NCR, Mumbai, Pune, and Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, currently the top 6, 7 metros in the country happens to be the first priority markets for all the players, right? And from anytime car sharing point of view, also, as Anastasia has also mentioned in her presentation earlier, we're also looking at individual cities master franchisee, and accordingly, their app can also be customized to individual city requirement. Right. So so what we would do is Delhi NCR would have one master franchise. Similarly, Mumbai Pune can be one master franchise, and similarly Bengaluru, and Mysuru can be combined to put up one master franchise in that market. Similarly, other markets also can be developed, and each master franchisee will have its own independent app and technology integration.
I would like to
Next.
quickly jump in
Yes.
and tell a bit more about anytime car sharing compared with the same BlaBlaCar, because it is also considered as car sharing. However, don't mix it up, because BlaBlaCar offers online decision for the users to unite and to use one car altogether to go somewhere. So just to cut the expenses on the ride. And car sharing is a bit different thing because we have our own fleet, we have our own mobile application. Of course, users can grab one car and go somewhere all together by using this car sharing car. However, it's not the same as what BlaBlaCar offers.
So yes, Anastasia, it would be great if you can also help us help our friends on this webinar today in terms of how anytime service would differ from what BlaBlaCar is offering today in India.
If we speak about BlaBlaCar, it's mostly an IT decision which helps different people in different cities, countries unite and go somewhere using someone else's car, but the driver will be the person who is owning this car. Car sharing is a different thing. So I will stop on it a bit later because I have separate slides to clarify
Sure.
what we offer.
Okay. So we can actually go to the next slide then.
Yeah. So here we just wanted to highlight that India is also a developing market in terms of electric vehicles. Of course, it is at the first stage of development compared with China, Europe, or United States. However, we also see great potential in electric vehicles because you can cut the expenses on fuel in car sharing. And it's cheaper to launch car sharing with electric vehicles. However, also there are some interesting things about that, and I think that we can discuss it in a separate calls with those who would be interested in launching anytime car sharing with electric vehicles.
I think it's an important aspect. Electric vehicles, of course, India is a growing market for electric vehicles, and both government and private players are putting a lot of emphasis in terms of creating the infrastructure for charging stations. And also, we've seen OEMs putting a lot of effort in terms of bringing in new vehicles. Cost efficiencies in terms of the vehicle cost is also improving. So, as a master franchise partner, we as a master franchise partner, you can also look at including a high percentage of EVs in your mix, which also means that operating costs for the master franchisee can also be considerably controlled from a operating cost point of view. And as Anastasia has mentioned, that we would like to uh, own most of the vehicles uh, that are operating. So EVs become a very exciting opportunity from controlling your.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anshu. I think that it's a high time to start with the main part of the presentation. So what
Yes.
Anytime Franchise offers. So in a few words, we can just say that Anytime is giving you the keys to the ready-made business. In frames of our franchising package, we provide all the necessary things to start up car sharing business. We prepare detailed finance model designed specifically for your market, for your city, and assist you in finding the best decision for the fleet. So here in the presentation, we will not touch the financial part because it's very important for understanding that we prepare detailed finance model for each of our potential franchisees. Everything depends a lot on your fleet, on the number of cars or scooters you have, on the local prices, on competition like taxis, scooter sharing, and many other factors. So we will calculate the finance model for each potential franchisee to start our conversation. We provide all the necessary training to your team. We teach how to use our IT software. We give you the set of guidelines which cover all business aspects, which include marketing, client support, HR, and operations. We give you very useful analytical tools. I will stop on it a bit later. we give you support at all stages of the service development, including operational and strategic aspects of your business. And of course, the main part of our franchise is our IT product, our software, website, mobile apps. We provide everything, starting from connection, localization, and configuration of anytime software. And after that, we provide you IT support 24/7 in case something goes wrong. It's important to note that we update our mobile apps and software on a monthly basis. So we always try to keep it up to date and add new features. We will give you mobile apps for iOS, Android, and Huawei. And as Anshul said, for each city, we will give separate mobile applications. So currently what we have, for example, if you go to Czech Republic and you visit Prague and want to use car sharing, you need to upload Anytime mobile application called Anytime CZ, so Czech Republic. And when you go to Belarus, you will have to upload Anytime BY. The same will be in the Indian market. We don't want to mix partners. So everything will be done exclusively for each partner, for each city. Each city will have separate mobile application. And it's also important to note that with our franchise, we provide marketing support. We give you the brand book. We prepare the marketing strategy upon launching the market. And after that, we give you regular marketing support, share our knowledge base, share our best practices. And our brand book includes all the necessary things. You don't need to create anything considering the brand. We already done it. We have corporate colors, designs, fonts, pictures, and photos. So you will be also getting this information from our site. Today, I would like to stop on the most important part. It is our IT platform. So here you can see the picture, just for your understanding what we have inside this software. So we give you unique software and powerful CRM system for complex management of the vehicle fleet and customer database. On the side of the franchisee, you will have multi-component monitoring system for all connected vehicles. So you can see it on the screen on the right. With the help of this monitoring system, you can see the current condition of the whole fleet. You can check the condition of each car, see the level of battery inside the car, the level of fuel for the car. And also you can see which cars are currently in rent and which are not, which have to be repaired or which are being evacuated, for example. We connect the cars to our IT software with the help of special GPS systems which are installed in each car. So it helps us to see the current situation with the fleet and to remotely close the vehicles, open the vehicles, start the engine, block the doors. So we can just remotely operate each vehicle in our fleet. And for the clients, we give mobile application, which works on Android, iOS, Huawei devices, and it allows customers to use the service comfortably.
So just on that last slide, the previous slide, in fact. Friends, this is very important. The IT platform ensures complete safety and security of the vehicle, even if it is in the transit. As it is mentioned that remotely we can operate the vehicle, opening it, closing it, switching it off. So all that can be done. So please be rest assured in terms of the vehicle security, even if it is divided given to the customers to operate. So next.
So Anytime is a scalable IT platform to run car sharing business in any country of the world, and India is not an exception. So we have a very interesting smart pricing system. It helps us to fix different packages for each country, long-term subscription options. We have business-to-business accounts management, and we have unlimited number of rates for every day and hour of the week. So it's important for you to understand that we can make different tariffs for different cities. So for different franchisees, there will not be one tariff for all car sharing vehicles in India. So it will depend on many factors, and also it will depend on the decision of franchisee. So for example, if you think that tomorrow there will be high demand on the vehicles, you can just raise the price a bit, so the client will not notice that you've raised the price just a bit, but it will help us to get better revenues. And it is very easily done through our software, and clients will see different tariffs. So we have the task manager for fleet manager, we have the heat map, we have remote vehicle and rent control. So we can fix parking zones, movement zones, everything is done with the help of the software. The average time for the client to get verified in the system when he registered for the first time is usually around 15 minutes. So it's very easy to get registered in our mobile application and to start using the service. In the next time the client uses the application, he doesn't need anymore to go through the verification process. So here you can see how our mobile application looks in a few pictures. So to use anytime car sharing, you need to download the application on your smartphone and register with your phone number. After, you need to indicate your name and email address and take a few photos. You need to make the photo of the front and back side of your ID card. Also, you need to make the photos of your driving license on both sides. And in the end, you make a selfie with your ID card, just for us to prove that it is you who are registering into car sharing. And after that, your documents go to verification, which is done on our side. And as I told, it takes from 15 to 30 minutes. When your account is verified, you link the bank card to pay for the future rents, and the money will be charged automatically from your bank card. So you don't need to use cash or go somewhere to pay. Everything is done with the help of your bank card. When you've registered in this service, now you can find the cars on the map. So you will see all the available cars. Those cars which are currently in rent by other clients will not be visible on that map. You choose the car. You can choose it by the distance to the vehicle or by the model of the car, because sometimes we prefer to add different car makes and models of different prices to the fleet, and clients want to get better vehicles, willing to pay more money for the rent, but during this driving in a more expensive car, which they can't afford buying. So after you've chosen the car, you see how much time it will take you to reach this car on foot. The map shows this destination. And when you find this car on the street, you need to check the car condition before the rent. When you check the car condition, you just need to make the photos of any damages which are visible. If there is some trash inside the car, you also need to make the photos, because the previous client who rented this car will get the fine for leaving this waste inside the vehicle. So you don't need to open the engines or something like that. You check the car condition, which you see. So only the body of the car and something which is located inside the car. After that, if you are happy with the condition of the car, you accept the car acceptance certificate by clicking the button inside the mobile application, and you can start the rent and drive. You finish the rent in the zone where it is allowed by your service, and you shall park in accordance with parking rules. As soon as you finish the rent, you just make the photos of the car condition after your rent, just for us as a service provider to understand that you didn't make any damages to the car. And after that, you just leave. The key is already inside the car. So it is just put in the lock inside the car, and you can just click it. So a few words about our IT platform. We have remote fleet management from the account, when you can block the engine, open and close the car, check the car availability for clients, even warm up or cool it remotely. We can see the fuel level, battery charge, mileage, condition of the engine and doors. We can see different reports which are available in the system by users, by rides, incidents. We can also monitor the incidents. We see the damages, low fuel level, overspeeding, impoundment, vehicle robbery, etc. And we can raise the history of all rides. You can see which user used the car, which photos he attached, what was the duration of this roads, which speed was during the trip, and many other factors. Also, here you can see the picture of the zone. It's important because the zones might differ. The zone where it is allowed to use the service may be different from the zone where you are allowed to park the cars. So we divide these zones because parking rules are different in all countries, in all cities, and we give you the ability to fix these zones by yourself. For example, you can let the clients go outside the city. However, you can prohibit them to park the vehicle outside the city. So to finish the rent, they will be ought to come back to the city and park only inside the city center or somewhere else, not crossing the borders. And all required information about each car is in one map. Who booked the car, the time of start and finish the rent, total time of the fleet, photos at the end of the trip, and all the defects on the car. Anytime analytics is also an important tool inside the franchise because we find it important to monitor how your business is going. And without analytical tools, it's impossible, sorry. So you can get details reports in our system, which will show the revenue and your business performance. You can compare different performance. You can see the gross revenue, you see budget, you can see the revenue per each car make and model, you can check the average daily revenue per car and many other things. So you can also see how your marketing is doing and how many daily users you have, how many of them are new time riders, and how many of them are using the service not for the first time. So why Anytime franchise? Because we are an innovative business. We see very positive perception of car sharing by local authorities in all the markets where we're currently present. We see that business is driven by strong demand as a more affordable way of urban mobility compared to taxi and other ways of transportation. And now it is really important with the COVID pandemic, when people try to avoid public transport, they want to avoid overcrowded metro, buses, and so on. And car sharing is the best opportunity for them because you don't spend lots of money on the ride, but you are going to your destination in a comfortable new brand car. It is important to know that you don't need to hire a team of IT developers when using Anytime franchise, because we give you all the necessary IT tools to operate this business. And that's why you have lower burn rate in case of franchise purchase. So Also, it's important to say that we have a dedicated team with an in-depth marketing knowledge and track record of developing industry leaders to drive future business expansion. And we will be supporting our partners at all stages of the service development. So talking about the franchise fees, as I said earlier, we can't say project investment prior getting additional information from the potential franchisee, because everything will depend on the size of the market, the fleet requirements, and cost of doing business in your city. So the total project investment will mostly depend on the way of creating the fleet. There are three ways of forming the fleet. The first one is the most expensive one, when you purchase the vehicles. The second option is the most preferable for us, and actually this is what we use by ourselves. We lease the vehicles, whether it is financial or operational lease. We can divide the whole sum of the car for years and pay month by month. And also there is a third option. If you already have car rental business and you have the fleet, we can just rebrand it into Carsharing. We will have to put the branding upon the cars, attach special equipment to the cars. So this is the cheapest option if you already have the cars. The franchise.
If I can add, Anastasia, please allow me. So, friends, we can also, explore opportunities which can be a franchisee invested in company-operated vehicles, which means we can look at some investors coming in and putting in anywhere between 10 to 25 vehicles with you. Operations would be owned by the master franchisee. Operated by the master franchisee, I'm sorry. But the vehicles are also owned by the master franchise, but invested by a franchisee or an investor. So which becomes an investor funded company owned, company operated setup. So that structure also can be explored as a fourth option to bring in vehicles in the market.
And also it's important to know car sharing service which differs from standard car rental. And it's very important to give the clients cars availability. So
Yes.
if about a city with population over 1 million people, we understand that 10 or even 100 cars is not enough for such market. Because when the client will open mobile application, he will see only the cars which are currently available for rent. Those cars which are already taken by clients will not be visible. So imagine if you have only 100 cars for a city with population over 1 million people, and part of these cars are currently in rent by other users. So you will see only 50 cars, and the nearest car will be located like 10 kilometers from you. And this will not work, because I guess that nobody would pass 10 kilometers to reach car sharing vehicle. Car sharing is about mobility and about quick access to the vehicle. So it's important to understand this. So our initial fee, which is paid upon signing the franchise agreement once, is 40,000 euro. It includes the exclusive rights for your city, business plan, which is done on our site, website, mobile applications, trademark, training guidelines, analytical adjustment, and support of our team at all stages. And also we have two monthly fees. The first one is royalty. It is 5% from the gross revenue. There is no royalty fee for the first 6 months of operation, because we decided to give such a present to our future franchisees. And also we have marketing fee, which includes marketing consulting, creatives, knowledge-based marketing guidelines, and the strategy upon entering the market. Also, we have one more option for the marketing. If you don't know how to have digital marketing correctly, or you don't have good specialists in your city, we can help you with the digital marketing, but for additional money. It's optional, so only for those partners who are interested in this. And the term of the agreement is 5 years with prolongation. Prolongation is free of charge. So we hope to have long-term connections with our future partners. And a few words about our interaction scheme. So if after the webinar you will be interested in knowing more about us, to get details on your city, to calculate the business model for your city, just submit the application. We will send you the questionnaire. After you fill in the questionnaire, we will prepare the business model for your case. And together we will describe this case on the Zoom call like we're having today. We will present you this business model together with the market overview. If everything looks nice and you plan to be part of Anytime project, we will determine the final fleet size, approve the final version of the business model, sign the franchising contract, and start preparing for the service launch. Usually it takes from 3 to 6 months to launch the service after signing the franchise agreement, because it's important to find the best decision for the fleet, to get these cars, to brand them, to put all the equipment, to set up the IT system, and so on. So usually it takes from 3 to 6 months, but if you have an existing fleet, it will be much quicker. So that's all for today. So sharing is caring.
Great. Thank you so much, Anastasia. And I think this was a very wonderful, detailed presentation that you gave to the entire audience that is present today. And friends, I would request all of you, if you have any questions with respect to the business model cities that you're looking for, please use the Q&A box and we'll take up these questions on your behalf. And as we all understand, sharing economy, or I would say an access economy, is becoming very, very big in India. It has disrupted mature industries like hotels and automotive by providing consumers with a convenient and a cost-effective access to resources, and without the financial and emotional, I would say, burden of ownership. And what we are seeing today is a big wave of innovation, especially in the micro rental market. And it is the opportunity today that we're talking about is an India entry opportunity with Russia's largest car sharing brand. They're also leaders in Central Asian region. And car sharing is typically an IT business, and that's what Anytime also maintains. And they offer the best technology, advanced car sharing platform, which can be implemented in any market of the world. And they are also they're also doing a lot of localization based on the local specifics. So connection, localization, configuration is something which is completely undertaken by the company. The opportunity is that of an area franchise where that's almost 40,000 euros, which kind of translates to about 35 odd lakhs for a city. Now, depending on the potential and the size of the opportunity, there might be certain variations in this upfront fee. And apart from this, there are further investments which the partner would do, and that would start from maybe purchase of the vehicles. Second could be leasing of the vehicles, and third is the rebranding of these vehicles, which would be required. So, and that's a little bit, kind of summing on the opportunity. And Venus, would you want to add on to that? And in the meantime, I'll also take up some questions which I think can be relevant for all the audience here.
No, I think Anastasia, Ansho, and Sonia, you have summed it up very well. These kind of businesses, if I in my time in franchising when I started, they were not available. Now people are very interested in acquiring businesses which are digital plus physical plus also belong to this internet economy. And Anytime car sharing, when we started talking to them, I mean, it had all of that. And when we start kind of really understanding what they are doing, it really sort of was very transformative, at least personally for me, because when we are in India or even we travel abroad, we are looking at only Uber or Lyft, or in India we have Ola. But there is another side of the sharing economy, which is really also coming up, where you can pick any vehicle and just drive yourself and drop it. I think in India, that is still at a very, I would say, initial stages. So from an investment perspective, I think I want to kind of give some visualization to potential investors. Is just imagine if you had a chance of investing something like this in like 15 years back in a business like Ola or an Uber. I think any car sharing and self-driving car sharing, whether it is car or a bike, would be as big in 10 years and 20 years, and as we sort of move along in the time. And I think my discussion with Anastasia has been, she and her team is very, very clear, and they have done enormous amount of research when it comes to population, per capita sort of consumption, and overall how this business works. And instead of kind of really giving you a detail like Excel financial projection, what Anastasia and her team really sort of say that, I mean, we'll give you a complete set of sort of understanding of the business model, but if you want to sort of, evaluate if this is for you, then we sign an NDA, and then we kind of really make a business case for you. So it's again, because if you want to do this in Kerala, it will be different than if you want to do this in Gurgaon, for example. So that's how it is going to go. And I don't have any specific questions because it would be really dependent upon where you want to this to open. But the feeling which I get, and Sonia, you can sort of endorse this, and Anastasia, you as well, is I think the most sort of mobile cities in India, which would be Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, maybe Chennai, would be the most apt. Maybe a tourist city like Goa would also make sense.
I think that I also need to add a few information about our target audience, because not everyone understands it. If we speak about standard car rental, usually it is mostly for tourists and for people who travel around the city. But if we speak about car sharing, it is mostly for locals, for people who can't afford having a personal vehicle. And of course, we have part of the clients who are traveling around cities, and they also prefer taking car sharing vehicles because you don't need to visit any office to sign lots of papers like in the car rental industry. You just upload the mobile application and use any car you want for any time you need. But mostly our target audience is local citizens.
Great point, Anastasia.
I have a couple of questions, and if we can perhaps take a few of these questions in the broader interest of our audience. And my first question would be on the fleet itself. What do you think should be an ideal number of vehicles to start off with? And I would also like to add here, friends, while the number initially might be a small number, but ideal partner should have the potential to build the capacities or the inventories over a period of time as they see the business increasing. So what is your viewpoint on that, Anastasia?
Yeah, it's a very good question. As I said, it will depend on the population of each city. So we can say to each partner who comes to us with the request to launch anytime car sharing in his or her city, we will at first look at the population and the competition. Usually we can start even from 100 vehicles, but we need to remember that 100 will not be enough, because as soon as our database will grow, we will have more and more clients and more requests to book the car. We will not survive with 100 cars. So potentially for large cities, for example, for the city with population over 1 million people, it is from 400 to 500 cars potentially. And what we see, if we don't have enough cars in the fleet, our expenses, our business expenses on operations of the business will be higher than our profit. And only if we reach this 400 cars limit, we will get the profit margin. And the profit margin is really great in car sharing business if it is operating correctly. You can earn up to 50% royalty from what you invested. And also it's important to say that car sharing business is highly evaluated. So for example, if you plan to sell it in 5 years, you will sell it for lots of money comparing with what you invested in the beginning. So car sharing is a very good investment for the future.
Sure. And what do you think, how long does it take for maybe a potential partner to reach that optimum level of efficiency? And at the same time, if I can also add, what is typical idle number of hours each vehicle can be utilized in a day?
Usually one vehicle, of course, depending on the city and on the fleet, is taken into rent from 5 to 12 times a day. So it depends. And the fleet utilization of some car models is so high that it is rented throughout the whole day. For example, if it is a brand new vehicle, which is not popular in your country and it is an expensive one, clients want to rent it all the time because they see it, they want to experience this drive and so on. And usually we try to form the fleet of 400 vehicles within 1.5 years. So after that, we also think that it's important to add new vehicles and always grow your fleet together with your client database.
And do you also see maybe some kind of a market which can be converted, because India has a big unorganized market which is currently operating out of many top cities apart from the smaller cities. So do you see that as a potential where somebody who comes with the experience, an unorganized player, could also get converted and become a partner with any time?
So actually, we don't ask for experience from our partners because we are the experts in car sharing business, and we are currently not only the largest car sharing in the world by the fleet size, but we are operating on the largest car sharing market in the world. Russia is considered to be one of the largest car sharing markets in the world, and here we have more than 15,000 vehicles under our operation. So it's not franchise, it's our own vehicles. And we think that we are ready to share our expertise. We can teach our partners how to make this business correctly. Even if you had experience in rental business before, of course, it will be a bit easier for you to get into car sharing. However, there are also many differences, and we will teach all our partners how to do it correctly.
Absolutely. And what, according to you, would, and I would want you to comment also on the revenue sources. Typically, what all would become the revenue source for an area partner? Would he also be allowed to create some small spokes under him, or he would own the entire fleet by himself?
So usually the fleet is owned or leased by our partner, so by our franchisee. We invest in our own markets, and franchisees invest on their own or find local investors to support the business. It's important to understand that it is not our business, it is the business of the franchisee, and we are mostly acting like consultants. We're guiding our partners through the whole way of building car sharing business in the country, in the city, and so on. So it's on the client's side to find the necessary investment in case of interested in getting into car sharing business.
Sure, and I think this also brings me to ownership, which is a fractional ownership where an area franchisee can also take some partners who can be pure investors in the business, and they can have some kind of fractional ownership in the business who can invest in these assets. So that's also something, friends, that we can explore. And that's the model which I assume Anshul was also referring to, where we would bring in investors and the partner would do take care of all the operations. So this is very helpful. Venus, would you want to take any other questions with respect to the revenue or the margins for whatever time that we are left?
No, I think this is a good initial discussion. As I mentioned, this is a very customized sort of operation. So it really depends upon which city and which area you want to sort of do this modeling for. So for that, we would of course wait for our audience here or anybody else to sort of reach out to us. I put in my numbers and my details, and then we would speak to you and then accordingly convey to Anastasia and team, and then sort of do a customized business modeling. I think we have shared with you the basis how this business work. Anastasia had also mentioned that let's say you can start with 100 cars, but ideally a 400, 500 fleet actually kind of really gets you economies of scale and then profitability. And also I think a lot of young entrepreneurs, and that's a good point. Anastasia mentioned that if you do this 5, 6, 7 years, you can actually sell it at a good valuation, because this actually is a tech business. So with, of course, some assets in there as well in form of vehicles. And again, with cars, I think we have highlighted this, but it is also available for the scooters, for the bikes and electronic bikes. So that business is also there. The investment is going to be lower in that, but that is also something very interesting, even can be done in a tier 2 city. So I think it all depends, and reach out to us. We are very, very excited for this opportunity. We are learning as well with this, and look forward to hear back.
And so for everyone who were taking part in the webinar together with us today, I just wanted to say that don't hesitate to ask any questions after we finish the webinar. You have Venus contacts. So if you get interested into getting more information, getting into the business plan for your case, it's absolutely free at this stage of negotiations. So just let us know in case you have interested in becoming part of our team.
Thanks, Anastasia.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. That was very well put. And friends, we all request you to reach out. We've already put our numbers in the chat box. You can note, and we can help you to understand the model based on the city that you come from. And I will now request Ashna to kindly take it over for her final closing remarks.
Sure. So thank you so much, all the panel members, for taking out time today and joining us here on this particular webinar. We really want to thank you for being here. All the dear friends, thank you so much for registration, joining us today for this great webinar. You want more information about this particular business opportunity or any of the business opportunity which Franchise India team is offering in market, do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. Please share your valuable suggestion, feedback, and different queries at our different social handles. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You want expert advice, more input, more industry insights, more suggestion, it's very easy to get it. Just join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their LinkedIn platform. Link we have just shared on a screen. We look forward to have that particular connection at the LinkedIn IDs. And tomorrow, under our Saturday special weekend, we are inviting you to join us for ROI show. This is a 1-hour show where we are bringing 3 business opportunities. However, our objective is to more talk about the ROI, how you get a ROI from these business, and getting a tips from Mr. Maria, who is a chairman at Franchise India Group on ROI. So please don't miss this chance. Join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. by doing registration today. Registration can be done by joining us at the Facebook page where we have shared the registration link, or come to us at our business hotline number. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a very safe day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Thanks, Anastasia. Thanks, Sonia.